Alright, let's do this. Grab your popcorn, because you are not going to believe the level of insanity my family operates on. So there I was, standing by the punch bowl at my own senior prom, watching my little sister get crowned prom queen. And as the spotlight hit her, illuminating the shimmering, one-of-a-kind, silver blue gown she was wearing, I just smiled. Because everyone in that high school gymnasium was about to find out she was wearing a stolen dress. My stolen dress. And I had the receipts to prove it. Let me back up, because this story is a whole mess, and it starts, as most of my problems do, with my sister, Jenna. I'm Chloe. I was 18 at the time, a senior. Jenna is my sister, a sophomore, 2 years younger than me, but about 1,000 years ahead in the world revolves around me department. She's the golden child. You know the type. If Jenna sneezed, my mom would rush in with a blanket and a cup of tea. If I discovered a cure for a rare disease, my mom would probably ask if I remembered to take the chicken out of the freezer for dinner. Jenna was popular, blonde, and had weaponized tears down to a science. I was me. I had a tight-knit group of friends, a part-time job at a greasy diner that always left my hair smelling like fries, and a dedication to my studies that Jenna found try hard. Our whole lives, Jenna had a habit of borrowing my things. A sweater here, a pair of earrings there. They'd usually turn up weeks later, stretched out or broken, with a breezy, "Oh, oops. My bad." And every single time, my mom would run interference. "Chloe, be the bigger person. It's just a sweater. Family is more important than things." Easy for her to say. She wasn't the one whose favorite hoodie now had a mysterious bleach stain on the sleeve. But this year was different. It was my senior prom. The one big, sparkly, cinematic moment you get at the end of 12 years of public school. And I wanted it to be perfect. More than anything, I wanted the perfect dress. For 6 months, I picked up every extra shift I could at the diner. I smelled like onions and stale coffee for half a year, banking every single dollar. I had a goal, a stunning, silvery blue dress I saw in the window of a boutique downtown. It was way too expensive, the kind of dress a celebrity's daughter would wear. It was elegant and shimmering, and it cost a gut-wrenching $600. The day I finally had enough money, I walked into that boutique and bought it. Trying it on was like a movie montage. It fit perfectly. I felt like a different person. For the first time, I didn't feel like just Chloe, the reliable older sister. I felt special. When I brought it home, my mom gave a polite, "Oh, that's lovely, honey. Very blue." But Jenna's eyes lit up in a way that should have been a red flag the size of Texas. She didn't say, "Wow, that's beautiful." She said, "Wow, I would look so good in that." I just laughed and carefully hung it in a garment bag at the very back of my closet, thinking that was the end of it. Oh, you sweet summer child, me. About 2 weeks before prom, Jenna came home from her own dress shopping trip with a pretty, but much less extravagant, pink dress. She seemed happy enough with it. The piece, however, lasted for exactly 5 days. 1 week before my prom, I came home from school to find my mom sitting at the kitchen table, stroking Jenna's back as she sobbed her eyes out. I mean, we're talking full-on, Oscar-worthy waterworks. "What's wrong?" I asked, dropping my backpack. Jenna looked up, her face a mess of mascara and fake despair. "I took it back," she wailed. "I took my dress back to the store." "Why would you do that?" I was genuinely confused. "Because I looked fat in it," she howled, burying her face in her hands. "I looked like a big, pink sausage. I can't go to prom looking like that. I'm not going." My mom shot me a look. The "don't you dare say the wrong thing" look. "Her confidence is shattered, Chloe," she said in a hushed, dramatic whisper. That mean girl Jessica told her that pink wasn't her color, and it sent her into a spiral. Now, I knew Jessica. And I knew Jenna. Jenna could verbally annihilate someone with a single, well-aimed comment. The idea of her crumbling over a "pink isn't your color" remark was, to put it mildly, absolute bull. But I just nodded. "I'm sorry, Jenna. I'm sure you looked great." The next few days were the Jenna show. She moped around the house in sweatpants, sighing dramatically every 5 minutes. The entire household's emotional state was held hostage by her prom dress-induced grief. Then came the first move. The opening chess play in a game I didn't even know I was playing. We were eating dinner, and I was talking about my final limo arrangements with my friends. My mom cleared her throat. Chloe, she started, in that sweet as poison voice she used when she was about to ask for something unreasonable. You know, your sister is just heartbroken. I know, Mom. And you're so confident. You have such a strong sense of self. Here it comes. You'd look beautiful in anything. A paper bag, even. I put my fork down. What are you getting at? Well, she said, glancing at Jenna for support. Since Jenna doesn't have a dress and she's so fragile right now. I was thinking, maybe you could let her wear your blue one. I stared at her. I think my brain actually short-circuited for a second. No, I said, my voice flat. Jenna's eyes instantly welled up. I knew she'd say no, she sniffled. Chloe, don't be so selfish, my mom snapped. It's a piece of fabric. Your sister's happiness is on the line. It would be such a generous, sisterly thing to do. It's my senior prom. I worked for 6 months for that dress. She is a sophomore. She has 2 more proms. The answer is absolutely not. The temperature in the room dropped by about 30 degrees. My mom looked at me with pure disappointment. I raised you to be kinder than that, she said, before getting up to console Jenna, who had escalated her sniffles into quiet sobs. I thought that was the end of it. I thought I had stood my ground and won. I was so wrong. 3 days before prom. I came home, excited to just try on the dress one more time with the shoes I'd bought. I went in my closet, unzipped the garment bag, and felt my stomach drop to the floor. It was empty. The dress was gone. A cold, white-hot panic washed over me. I tore my closet apart. I looked under my bed. I checked the laundry room. Nothing. My $600 dress, my dream dress, had vanished into thin air. I stormed downstairs. Jenna and my mom were on the couch, watching some reality TV show. Where is it? I demanded, my voice shaking. Jenna looked up, feigning innocence. Where's what? Don't play dumb with me, Jenna. Where's my prom dress? She gasped, putting a hand to her chest. Are you accusing me of stealing? Her eyes darted to Mom, the signal for backup. Chloe, what is wrong with you? My mom said, standing up. Why would you accuse your sister of something so horrible? You probably just misplaced it. You've been so stressed lately. Misplaced it? It's a giant, shimmering ball gown, Mom, not my car keys. It was in a garment bag in my closet. Well, it's not my fault you're disorganized. Jenna shouted, now fully committed to the role of the wrongfully accused. You're just trying to blame me because you're mad I asked to borrow it. They double-teamed me. They told me I was being hysterical, that I was overreacting, that I was a bad sister. They gaslit me so hard I actually started to question my own sanity. Maybe I did move it somewhere and forget? No, I knew I hadn't. But against the 2 of them, I didn't stand a chance. I retreated to my room, my heart pounding with a mixture of rage and helplessness, and I cried. For the next day, I was a zombie. My prom was ruined. I didn't have a dress, and I certainly didn't have another $600. My friends were trying to help, offering to let me borrow their old homecoming dresses, but it wasn't the same. The magic was gone, replaced by this ugly, bitter feeling. The breaking point, the moment everything changed, came from an unlikely source, Instagram. My friend, Sarah, sent me a screenshot. Isn't this Jenna's friend, Madison? She texted. It was a photo from Madison's Instagram story. A prom prep collage. In one of the smaller photos, a group of sophomore girls were laughing and doing their makeup. And in the background, hanging on the back of a bedroom door, was a flash of unmistakable, shimmering, silver-blue fabric. My blood turned to ice. I stared at that photo for a solid 5 minutes. It was my dress. There was no doubt. It was at Madison's house. The lie was so much bigger than I thought. Jenna didn't just take it to wear it. She had it at a friend's house, hiding it. This was premeditated. But why? The whole I feel fat story was the perfect cover to get sympathy and try to guilt me into giving her my dress. But why would she need to return her pink dress in the first place? If her goal was just to wear mine, she could have just kept her original dress as a backup. The math wasn't adding up. She returned her dress, she said, which meant she should have gotten money or store credit back. So what happened to it? And that's when a dark little thought wormed its way into my brain. I went to our family shared desktop computer. I opened the browser and checked the search history. My hands were literally shaking. I scrolled past my dad's searches for lawn fertilizer and my mom's recipe searches. And then I saw it. Under Jenna's login profile. Cash for dresses near me. Pawn shops that buy formal wear. How much is a brand new prom dress worth? My breath hitched. It all clicked into place in one horrifying, crystal clear moment. She never returned the pink dress. She sold it. She sold her own prom dress for cash, and then came home with that whole pathetic, crying about being fat sob story so she'd have an excuse for not having a dress, all with the intention of manipulating me or outright stealing my dress from the very beginning. She needed the money for something, and she decided I would be the one to pay the price. I felt a switch flip in my head. The hurt and sadness were gone, replaced by a cold, calculating rage. I wasn't going to get mad anymore. I was going to get even. I went into her room. She wasn't there. I looked through her desk, her drawers, nothing. Then I checked the little trash can by her bed. Under some makeup wipes and candy wrappers, I found it. A crumpled up receipt. From a pawn shop 2 towns over. Dated the same day she came home crying. Payout, $150. I took a picture of it. I then went to my email and found the original online receipt for my dress, the one with my name, my credit card info, and a perfect description of the silver blue gown. I printed it out. I now had Exhibit A and Exhibit B. The plan formed in my mind, clean and perfect. I wasn't going to confront her at home where my mom could protect her. No, I was going to let her have her big night. I was going to let her walk into that prom, wearing my dress, thinking she had gotten away with it all. The public stage was the only courtroom that mattered. I called my friend Sarah. Operation Find Chloe a dress is a go, I said. But it can't be anything too fancy. I need to look like the poor, sympathetic older sister whose dress mysteriously vanished. Sarah understood the assignment immediately. We went to a department store and found a simple, elegant, but clearly off-the-rack black dress for $70. It was fine. It did the job. The night of the prom, I got ready with a strange sense of calm. My mom saw me in the black dress and had the audacity to look relieved. "Oh, honey, you see," she said, smiling. "You look beautiful." It all worked out for the best. I just smiled back at her, a tight, thin smile that didn't reach my eyes. "You have no idea," I said. Jenna, of course, wasn't getting ready at our house. She was at Madison's, the scene of the crime. She told Mom it was because they had a professional makeup artist coming. The lies were just so easy for her. When my friends and I arrived at the prom, I felt a nervous flutter, but I pushed it down. We took pictures, we danced to a few songs. And then, an hour in, Jenna and her friends made their grand entrance. And there it was. My dress. I have to admit, she looked incredible. The dress shimmered under the gymnasium lights, and it fit her perfectly. She was glowing with the confidence of someone who had won, who had gotten everything she ever wanted at someone else's expense. She saw me across the room and a smug little smirk played on her lips. She even came over. "Chloe, I'm so glad you decided to come," she said, loud enough for people to hear. "I feel so bad about your dress going missing. But you look really nice. Black is so practical." I just looked at her. "You have no idea how much this night is going to mean to you," I said. She thought I was being sarcastic. She just laughed and flounced off toward the popular kids' table. My mom, who was a chaperone for the event because of course she was, beamed at Jenna from across the room, proud as could be. I let her enjoy it for another hour. I watched her laugh and take a million photos. I watched her dance with the quarterback. I let her feel like she was the absolute queen of the world. Because the higher you climb, the harder you fall. At 10 p.m., it was time for the main event, the announcement of the prom king and queen. The principal, Mr. Davison, got on stage. The king was announced, some jock named Mike. And then, for the queen, the drumroll started. "And your 2025 prom queen is Jenna Miller." The crowd of sophomores and juniors erupted. Jenna practically floated onto the stage, her face a perfect mask of surprised delight. The spotlight followed her. My dress, my beautiful dress, sparkled for the entire school to see. They placed the cheap, glittery tiara on her head. She waved to the crowd. She had it all. And that's when I made my move. I walked calmly over to Mr. Davison, who was standing at the side of the stage. My mom, seeing me approach, started to walk over too, probably to tell me not to make a scene. She was too late. "Mr. Davison," I said, my voice low but steady. "I'm Chloe Miller, Jenna's sister." I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to report a theft. He looked confused. A theft? Here? Tonight? Yes, I said, pulling the folded-up papers from my small purse. The dress the prom queen is wearing was stolen from my closet 3 days ago. This is the receipt for my purchase. I handed him the printout of my online order. And this, I said, handing him the photo of the pawn shop ticket, is the receipt for the dress she sold for cash after lying to our mother about returning it because she claimed she felt fat in it. Mr. Davison's face went from confused to stunned to grim in about 5 seconds. He looked at the dress on stage, then back at my receipt, then at Jenna's beaming face. My mom finally reached us. What's going on? Chloe, what are you doing? Just telling the truth, Mom, I said sweetly. Mr. Davison looked at my mom. Is this true? Of course not, my mom sputtered. Chloe is she's just jealous. Then I'm sure you won't mind if we get to the bottom of this, he said, his face hardening. He walked back on stage and took the microphone. The music, a triumphant pop song, screeched to a halt. Excuse me, everyone. A moment of your attention. The whole gym went silent. Everyone was looking at the stage. Jenna's smile faltered, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. Jenna, Mr. Davison said, his voice amplified throughout the entire room. We just need to ask you a question about your dress. The silence was deafening. I could see Jenna's friends whispering. Jenna's face went from confused to pale. Your sister, Chloe, he continued, has presented a receipt that indicates this dress belongs to her. Can you explain that? Jenna froze. She looked from Mr. Davison to me, and in her eyes I saw pure animal panic. She looked at our mom, who was standing frozen at the side of the stage, her face ashen. It's a mistake, Jenna stammered into the microphone. We have the same dress. It's a coincidence. This dress is from a small boutique downtown, I said, stepping forward just enough for Mr. Davison to hear me. They only made one in this size and color. It's one of a kind. The principal nodded. Jenna, there's also a question of your original pink dress, which you allegedly sold to a pawn shop. That was the kill shot. The word pawn shop hung in the air. You could literally hear the collective gasp from the student body. The idea of the popular, perfect Jenna Miller selling her dress to a pawn shop was just too juicy. Her entire carefully crafted image shattered in a single sentence. She completely fell apart. Tears, real tears this time, started streaming down her face. She couldn't form words. She just stood there, under the spotlight, in my stolen dress, with her cheap tiara, completely and utterly exposed. It was over. Mr. Davison had her and my mom escorted to his office. The DJ, clearly trying to salvage the mood, awkwardly put on another song. The crown was given to the runner-up. My friends rushed over and enveloped me in a huge hug. And for the first time in a week, I felt like I could breathe again. The aftermath was biblical. Jenna was suspended from school for a week. She was, of course, stripped of the prom queen title. Her social life was nuked from orbit. The story was all over school in minutes. She became a pariah. My dad, who had been out of town on business, came home to this hurricane of drama. When he saw the proof, the receipts, the story from the principal, he was beyond furious. For the first time ever, he didn't let my mom smooth things over. Jenna's punishment was severe. She was grounded for the entire summer. Her phone was taken away. She was forced to get a summer job at a fast food place to pay me back the $600 for the dress, plus another $150 for the dress she pawned, and an extra $100 for emotional damages and ruining my senior prom. My dad's words. It was glorious. My relationship with my mom was fractured for a long, long time. She couldn't look me in the eye for weeks. We ended up in family counseling, where she finally had to confront her blatant favoritism. It's better now, but it's not the same. It never will be. As for me, I left for college that fall and never looked back. I learned a valuable lesson that night. Sometimes, being the bigger person doesn't mean letting things go. Sometimes, it means bringing receipts. So yeah, that's the story of how my sister's prom coronation turned into a public trial. It was messy as hell, but you know what? It was totally worth it. If you're here for the drama, you better hit that subscribe button, because you won't even believe what happened when my mom tried to invite Jenna on my 21st birthday trip to make up for everything. That's a story for another day.